So I know we could probably talk for hours, but I know that diversity, inclusion, and women in tech is very important for you. And having been awarded the Women in Tech Award, as we move forward, how do we foster innovation in bringing more women into tech and doing that from a company level? And how are you and your team here really, taking that mission on? You talk about people, planet, profit, right? How is that people aspect?
Well, the whole company has a diversity policy, so that's not just us in tech. I mean, we really strive hard to have a mix of people working from different nationalities, genders, everything. And we do have a lot of female leaders out of the hotels from different nationalities as well. So they work very hard with it as a company. In the tech department specifically, it is a bit tricky because there are more men than women out there. So, if we are going to be 50-50, we're stealing them from someone else. But we still try really hard, I think. And we also try very hard in my department. We have a mix of engineers and non-technicians that work with tech. So that's one of the things that we do as well. And that I think that actually creates a lot of not innovation, but new ideas, because they come from people with mixed backgrounds that see things differently. And a lot of the best ideas sometimes don't come from the technicians, though they might find out how to solve them. It's the non-technicians that are, brave enough to think of something that they didn't know that it wasn't possible. So they just suggested it. So I think it is, working with diversity and having different personalities in your department is not just something that we're saying. We think it actually creates a lot of value. It makes us better. As for the female part, I think what we need to do in general to get more women into tech is to, stop talking about tech as something very techy. Men, they come from the gaming industry, and though there's women in gaming as well, I know, but it's very, nerdy and techy how we talk about it still. But I feel a lot of the females that I know in IT, the reason they started working with it wasn't because they thought tech was so cool. It was because they wanted to solve a problem. So if you talk about, what kind of competence do we need to solve water problems in the world, or food problems, like big, important questions for the world or for companies, then you get, you focus on what you want to achieve, and then you use technology to solve that. So I think that is maybe one of the ways that you can actually open up the industry more to women, is by talking about the end goal instead of just talking about the technology in itself. And then there's obviously different personalities and people like different things. Apart from that, obviously the whole company works very well with the feeling of being included, welcomed, that it's not a threatening environment. And that is important as well, because we know a lot of tech companies, and I have vendors even that I work with, and they're great people, but I would never want to work there because everyone else is a man. And it's just a culture, the feeling on what do you talk about over lunch is, I would be bored. I mean, I wouldn't want to work there because I would feel like, okay, but I don't fit in. And not that it bothers me that I don't fit in, as I don't feel like I'm less or anything. It's just boring. It doesn't interest me if we can't have a broader environment. And I think you're losing a lot of good heads if you build a culture that is not open for different things, but it narrows it down to just one area.
Yeah, I worked in hiring and as a recruiter for
Oh, you did,
over 10
right?
years. Yeah, I started actually my career in software development recruiting. And that's how I actually can speak any sort of tech language. Having been a recruiter and worked with so many companies over the years, everyone talks about it, but very few do. And I love how you talk about the impact that has when you bring true diversity into a team, because that's where the creativeness happens, right? If everyone's the same or everything's the same and everyone gets along and goes along with things, there's no one to challenge. And you need to challenge in a good way thoughts, ideas, processes. That's where innovation comes from. We talked about innovation for a long time, and innovation comes out of challenge, right? And I really love that. And it's really cool to see. And just by being here in this office and seeing it and feeling it, it's a really cool thing. And, I commend you for continuing to put that as a forefront, and the way you step up and lead and talk about it is one of the cool things, as I was reading some of the prep material going into today. So,
Actually, I wanted to add one more thing about, bringing more women into tech. And I think what is really important is that you have to hire female leaders and let them be female, because I mean that's how you show the others that this is possible, that there's something to aspire to. And if you only have male leaders, it's not all the time, you're going to think it's not for me, it's not possible for me to get there, and then you won't try.
The need to put women in leadership and let them be female, I think that's really strong and really powerful, and impossible is nothing, right? So I think there's such a world of possibilities, and hopefully we can see continued growth and just innovation out of not only the technology side of the world, but us as humans. I think right now we need that more than ever, bringing that human element and innovating as humans.